Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Tarot-Scopes again. We're going to be doing the Tarot-Scopes for the sign of Taurus. That's Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising for the merry, merry month of May, one of the Taurus months, and one of my personal favorite months of the year. All right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to take a look at the astrology just generally of the month first, and then how it applies to Taurus. And then we'll get into a card reading, tarot card reading, and an oracle pull. So let me share my what I need to share here. Okay. All right. And I'm going to make this a little bit easier to see. Oh, goodness gracious. That's not how that works. Oh, sorry. Just It's early. It's a little early for this, but okay. All right. So we're looking at May 2025. May 2025, May is the fifth month. 2025 is a nine universal year vibration. And so the vibration for the month May 2025 is the 14-5 vibration, which is the Temperance card in the tarot. There it is right there. Here's the 9 card. This is the Hermit. This is the vibration for the year. 9 is about sharing our wisdom, sharing our light. Um, it is about forgiveness. It is a 9, so it's about separating the wheat from the chaff, letting go of that which no longer serves while um, gathering the seeds and then nurturing the seeds for them to be planted in the new cycle. And of course, 2026 numerologically would be the new cycle, but there's a lot of um, work before we get there. And then, of course, May being the fifth month, we bring in the 5 card, which is the Hierophant in the tarot that is associated with that still small voice within inner hearing, right? It is a card of wisdom, and not just traditional wisdom as we see it from like governments. It's considered constitutional. It's the constitution of the body, like Taurus is, right? Like you guys are. And so it is also the wisdom of our previous lifetimes and the wisdom of the ages and the sages. So it's a very sagacious vibration. So we have the first thing that happens of consequence this month is a conjunction between Venus and Neptune. That happens on the 2nd. And of course, this is important to you, Taurus, because you're a Venus rule sign. And Venus has, had to take her licks over the last number of years. Venus is in a fight for her life, and women are in a fight for their life. And we've been knocked down a few pegs, right? But we're rising up stronger. And part of that rising up stronger is this Venus retrograde cycle, where Venus went retrograde, came back, started a new Aries star point, and now she's moving forward. She's still in her shadow as she conjoins Neptune. And remember, Neptune just moved into Aries back at the end of March. That was significant. The last time Neptune was at that degree was 1861. So it's been a long, long time. And Neptune is our imagination, and Aries is our focused intention. Aries is our instincts. Aries is new beginnings, right? So this is a really tenuous, probably one of the most important years of my life from a collective standpoint, perhaps not a personal standpoint, but as in a collective way, where we our backs are against the wall, where we have to let go and have a certain amount of faith, but also have a vision for the future. And of course, vision is an Aries thing. So we have that Neptune in Aries, requiring us to visualize the future that we want to create, that we want to put energy into. And so it is all up to each individual to decide what's important to them in a way, and how are you going to get there. The other interesting thing about Venus making that conjunction to Neptune at the first degree of Aries is that it's happening on a 16/7 vibration day, which is the Tower. So this is a deep illumination right at the get-go. Whoops, as we begin May. We start May off with the bang. And then the next thing that happens in May is that Pluto stations retrograde. It has reached 4 degrees of Aquarius. It is now going to move back, I think, to 2, and then turn around at the end of the year and start coming back again. But this is as far forward, this is as far evolved as we're going to be, so to speak, this year. And now we get to go back and go over some stuff. So that I think will be helpful. I think it will also take the winds out of the sail of some of these technical oligarchs, technology oligarchs. Okay. On the 5th, 5/5, the Cinco de Mayo, and the 5/5 portal, we have Mercury making a waning sextile to Jupiter. This is sharing our knowledge with each other to create a more progressive future for all of us, more Aquarian in nature. On the 6th, we have Venus making a waxing sextile to Pluto. Now, she has made this sextile to Pluto before while she was retrograde. Now she's moving forward and she makes this sextile again. This opens the lines of communication. Venus has something to say, the soul has something to say, and really getting down to our deepest value, our deepest value. On the 10th, Mercury, the planet of the mind, moves into your sign, Taurus. And so our mind calms down a bit, becomes more practical and pragmatic, which is going to make you feel better. All this, Aries, like great ideas, and then Pisces, all this water, and Taurus is like, all right, guys, let's put our feet on the ground and start planting these seeds, right? So Taurus has been waiting for the hubbub kind of to cool down a bit. And Mercury moving into Taurus is going to help that. Of course, the sun at this point is in Taurus as well. So you do have the illumination, at least the illumination of the need to get serious and figure out how we're going to survive this, because Taurus is a survival archetype. On the 12th of May, we have a full moon in the sign of Scorpio. And on the same day, the Mercury making a first quarter square to Pluto, crisis in action square. So that week with Mercury and Pluto, there can be some issues around people trying to control things, take the lead. This is the direction we need to go in. Everybody is sort of coming from that place, but it can be a place wrought with fear, and making decisions from a place of fear is usually not the best idea. So it's better to allay small things to do, allay your fear. No big things. Things have to happen gradually with that. And of course, the full moon is going to illuminate our values and our shared values, our money and our shared money. This probably has to do, at least in this country, with Social Security and that. I don't know how far we'll be on the budget and all that other stuff, so we'll have to see. All right, on the 17th, Sun conjuncts Uranus at 28 degrees of Taurus. Every year, the Sun will conjoin Uranus and start a synodic cycle with Uranus. Synodic cycle simply means the amount of time it takes to go from a conjunction to a conjunction of two planets. And the sun illuminates, Uranus awakens, and this is happening at the latter degrees of Taurus, because Uranus will move out of Taurus this year. It will move back in for a little bit, but then it will move out for good next year and won't be in Taurus for another 84 years. So none of us are going to really have to worry about it. But it is going to move into Gemini, which is going to change the energy completely. So So where we find ourselves now is in the process of a complete transformation. The only planet this year that didn't change signs is Pluto. And Pluto's the planet of change. And it's in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So it's all change. It's all change all the time. And we just have to sort of sit back, have and watch the changes happen, really, and navigate as best we can until and navigate as best we can while focusing on what we want to create and then taking actions little by little to get there. On the 18th of May, Mercury squares Mars. That could be a little argumentative day. Go watch that. On the 20th, the Sun makes a waxing sextile to Saturn while the Sun ingresses into Gemini. This is nice because it brings stability. The I'm sorry, the Sun waxing sextile. Right, because the Sun waxing sextile is when the Sun is in Taurus and Saturn is in Pisces, and it's at the very, very end because then the same day we have the Sun move into the next sign, and then by the 24th, Saturn moves into Aries, which is the one of the big things that is happening, probably the biggest thing really this month that's happening. On Thursday, the 22nd, we have a lovely trine between Venus and Mars and a Sun sextile to Neptune, both very pleasant aspects. We have a pleasant day on the 22nd. Make up for that argumentative 18th of May, right? On the 24th, we have a trine with the Sun and Pluto, as well as Mercury making a conjunction to Uranus. The Sun made it. Now Mercury makes it, and Saturn ingressing into Aries. So the 24th is a big change. We see a big change on the 24th. On the 25th, we have Mercury ingress into Gemini, and Mercury makes a sextile to Saturn, just like the Sun did, except that it's happening in the next set of signs, right? We have the Sun. We have Saturn in. We have Mercury ingress to Gemini. We have Saturn now in Aries, and we have Mercury now in Gemini. So it's the same aspect, but it's on two different sides of the zodiac of a sign. It's at the end of a sign, and it's at the beginning of a sign. And that ending and beginning energy just is repeating over and over again. And of course, that's the vibration of the nine anyway. On the 26th, we have Mercury making us waxing, growing sextile to Neptune. This is communication with spirit at the same time as we have a new moon in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. And so this new moon in Gemini has a spiritual overtone to it. It's very, very powerful. On the 27th, Mercury makes a waxing trine to Pluto. And on Friday the 30th, we have a conjunction between the Sun and Mercury. This is called the superior conjunction because Mercury is direct at this time, and it's happening at 10 degrees of Gemini, another, again, a Mercury ruled sign. So a lot of activity, a lot of ideas, endings and beginnings, surprising things to happen. Another fun month. Another fun month on planet Earth. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do jump to is just to look at how it's affecting Taurus. And we can just see that the predominant energy here in May is all on the left side of the chart. The left side of the chart is the side of the chart where you kind of make your own way. It's you're out there in the world and defining who you are to the world at the same time figuring out who you are. Of course, we have Pluto here at the top of the chart now. Pluto's going to be there for the next 19 years. So, it's there. And there's that little retrograde. So it's going retrograde. That's significant. Um, Saturn here, moving from Pisces into Aries, significant. There's Neptune just moved into Aries. These two planets are moving very close together, but they don't actually make their conjunction until next year. And that's really when the new begins. We're still working, getting rid of the old here. Venus spends the whole month in Aries, moving forward, right? First thing she meets up with is Neptune. Is Neptune. Um, we have Mercury actually moving pretty quickly this month, starting the month in your 12th house. The 12th house is the house of the other side. It's the veil. And so when Mercury moves through there, um, you'll be hearing more voices, like more voices in your head. Remember, Taurus is the Hierophant, right? The 5 is the Hierophant card. It's the Taurus card instantly. And that's about inner hearing. So you're gonna be hearing things. Believe what you hear in your own head. Actually, you're probably better off listening to the voices in your head than the voices outside that are yakking at you and telling you, unless, I mean, it's good to get information, of course, but not telling you how to think or what to, you know what I'm saying? It has to come kind of from within. But you guys are Tauruses, so you understand that. The sun, of course, in Taurus in May. We start the month with the sun in your first house. So you're really shining bright, Taurus. This is a time for you to shine. We still have Uranus in your sign, so it's going to continue. That doesn't move out and move into Gemini until till July 7th, I think it is. So we still have that energy in the first house. Jupiter moving through your second house now direct is good to bring resources in for you towards the end of the month when the sun moves into Gemini. Your focus will be on your resources, what you have, issues of survival and thrival. And we also have a new moon in that house. And so that's a good time to start like a new project that's going to bring resources in, perhaps, or a project that's going to help you feel better about yourself and your own value. We do also have the full moon. You can see the full moon, the sun will be in your first house and the moon will be in the seventh. This is a real potent full moon for your relationships, your relationship to yourself and how that's reflected in your relationship to others. Big awareness is there. Not necessarily bad. It could be a kind of a nice time for you, Taurus. All right, let's get off of here now, and let's do the cards now because it's a 5 month, and 5 is the number of Taurus. And, well, I don't know. I just decided to use the Thoth deck for you guys. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever used the Thoth deck for Taurus, but let's see what's in store for Taurus. What does Taurus need to know about May? What's the energy for Taurus for May? This is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It will apply. With Venus in the house in Aries, your ruling planet, making progress. Okay, where do we start? Okay, we start with a difficult card. Um, the Nine of Swords in other decks is nightmares, imaginings, like imagining the worst. But in this deck, it's more directly about cruelty, about the cruelty of the mind, about how we can get caught up in our mind, and and to the exclusion of our heart, right? How can we be cruel? You can only be cruel if you shut off your heart, right? And so that's the situation as you start this month. So let's see the challenge to that. Healing, healing, balance. Now, I have to believe this isn't your cruelty that we're seeing here. What I think we're seeing here is the cruelty that we see in the world. And the challenge is, how do we stop it? How do we heal it? How do we get back to balance? How do we stop hurting each other? How do we stop hurting children? This is Mars in Gemini. Mars in Gemini is, the United States has a Mars in Gemini. Um, and so this can also be Mars in Gemini getting words attacking, getting attacked. So that may be you. You may be getting attacked by other people's insensitivities. You may be feeling that. And the challenge is, how do you keep your balance through that? Let's see what's underneath. We have the Three of Wands, virtue. This is you. This is your heart opening. This is your light shining. Um, so at the core of it is that if somebody is being cruel to you through their communications, it's almost like you can't let it bother you, because you have to understand that you, at the core of who you are, that you are light and you are love, and a new sort of, this card sometimes I consider sort of the birth of light. The birth, something is coming our way. It's just a matter of time before it gets here, kind of energy. And it's also an Aries energy, the sun in Aries here. In the past, we have the Chariot, things moving very, very quickly. The Chariot also indicates you finding your soul purpose. But this is movement, lots of movement recently in the past. Maybe you have moved, or things have sped up in a way that, Taurus likes to go slow with things. Slow and steady wins the race for Taurus. And sometimes the speed of things can be a little bit disoriented. In the sky, we have victory. We have victory. So you will be victorious. Spirit says, have courage. You will be victorious. Let's see, in the immediate future. Something is going to be revealed to you. This is the High Priestess. This is revelation. You will become privy to some information that you didn't have before. Whether you choose to utilize that information or how you choose to utilize that information is completely up to you. It's completely up to you. How it's seen from outside. That people see you as um well healed, but maybe not so satisfied, or a little bit discontented. This is divine discontent. But it is luxury as well. So they see you as somebody who makes sure that you take care of your needs. That's what I would say, which is very much a Taurus thing to do. So you're right on target with that. In your domestic situation, we have the Six of Swords in this deck. It's called science, precision, getting to the point, right? The point of the matter. But it's also about moving away from, like, this is a much better card, right, than the card we started with. It's. So domestically, in your home, in your environment, I think we come to some sort of equanimity. We come to a point. We come to moving out of troubled waters. Hopes and fears. Um, the Hanged Man, getting hung up, getting delayed. This does say look at things from a different perspective. But it's you may want to rest. You after this being in the past, you may want to rest. That could be a hope. It's just like, let's stop everything for a while and I've just got to think about it. Or it could be the fear that you get stuck in some way. All right, let's see the outcome. Oh, okay. So the Empress, the Venus card, Venus, Taurus is a Venus rule sign. This is abundance, 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 abundance. So whatever is happening now, whatever difficulty you're having right this minute, it is going to be completely resolved. Completely resolved. You're going to get information about something that's going to make you understand something about this situation. And then everything else pretty much moves in the direction of resolution and good feeling. Underneath it all is the Knight of Swords, the Moon, and ruin. And so this says to me that there is somebody in your life that's really just off their rocker, just really emotionally overwrought, doing things. It's they're gonna, whoever, if there is somebody attacking you, whoever it is gonna just drive themselves right into the ground. So um and you don't even have to do anything almost, because they're going to burn themselves out. That's what it looks like to me. All right. So that's what the cards say. Okay. Wow. That was interesting. I don't know if I've ever had a Thoth reading like that. A lot of major arcana though. So this is significant time. It's almost like it's such a significant time that the really small things that might have, pestered you or driven you crazy in the past, it's just like, pff, right? All right. Let me do one last draw. I've been drawing cards from this deck, Spirit of the Wheel, meditation deck. It's a really lovely deck. It's by Melinda. Let's see if I can, there we go. That's the deck. I got this in Oregon many years ago. Actually, oh, hard to believe, like, is it 13? It's been 13 years already? 2012. No. Yeah. No, 2012, 2022. Yeah, I think so. It's been a while. Been a while. I got to get back to Oregon. I got to get back to Portland. I love Portland. I love Oregon. I love the Pacific Northwest. Even though there's a lot of rain, it's just so green. I'm mostly liberal, just helpful for me. All right, let's see. Spirit of the Wheel. What do we got? Frog, Return, Moon. Speaking of rain, Frog, Return, Moon. I'll hold it up so you can see it, and I'll read it from the book, 'cause it's very well written. Although I will say it's very small print. So I'll have to take my glasses off for this one. Okay, here we go. Can you see that? See, now I took my glasses off and it's hard for me to see this part. Here we go. Building dreams, determination, and cooperation. This is April 20th to May 20th, which is pretty much Taurus. This is the Taurus card in this deck. Isn't that funny? Boy, you really are Taurusing out this month, Taurus. The frog return moon carries signals. I'm sorry. The frog's return moon, and point of fact, well, not so much the last couple of nights because here it's been really cold. I'm doing this in the beginning of April, really cold at night, but for a while there it was a little bit warmer and you could hear all the peep frogs. So this is the frog return time, right? The frog's return moon signals the perfect time to begin a venture or build upon plans already in the works. That's that new moon in the second house, by the way. The energy of this moon brings you the stamina, determination, and mental clarity to successfully plan, build, and create what you desire. Once you begin to process, your plans will quickly unfold. This is truly a time for planting the dream seed. Planting the dream seed, guys. Those born under this sign sometimes experience a disruption of their work because of their I can do it all myself attitude. Well, you know all about that, don't you, Taurus? Do not tackle the project alone. Be flexible and accept help and valuable input along the way. Working with others will help you reach your destination faster. Channel your stubbornness into determination. Oh, they're really talking to you, aren't they? Work towards your dreams with the group mind attitude. When the group is your family, friends, or co-workers, their love and support will help you reach your dreams. And this is your prayer. Great Spirit, help me to have the courage and the strength to build my dreams and to accept the loving support of others along the way. Wow, that's pretty powerful, Taurus. Congratulations. Well, looks like it's going to be another interesting month for all of us, but for you, Taurus, in very Taurian ways. Have yourself a great month. Much love to you all. I'll see you again next month. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you again for your memberships, your support over all these years, new and old alike. Take care, everyone. Namaste.